Two British princesses are getting swept up in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Beatrice and Eugenie are the daughters of former Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. As CNN reports from London, recently released Epstein files feature their parents' names hundreds of times.
But let's move on to some other issues. And there are reports that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have been banned from attending Royal Ascot in June, and they won't be allowed to join their family in the royal procession either.
There are now reports that both princesses have been barred from attending Royal Ascot in June and will not be permitted to participate in the royal procession alongside the rest of the royal family. The situation has reportedly taken a serious turn for Princess Eugenie, who is said to be in a state of panic following her questioning by Interpol over alleged bribe money she is accused of receiving from Epstein. Shockingly, it appears that Sarah Ferguson was not the only member of the family accepting payments from the convicted sex offender. Eugenie is alleged to have been collecting payments as well. Making matters worse, several of Epstein's victims have come forward with detailed accounts of what Eugenie was allegedly being paid to do, specifically arranging access to young girls and helping to silence those who had been abused. Investigators are said to be taking these statements seriously, in part because the contents of the Epstein files appear to corroborate the victims' claims. Contrary to how much of the media has portrayed them as passive figures manipulated by their mother, Beatrice and Eugenie may have been active participants in their own right. To understand the depth of the situation, consider this.
Imagine finding out your mother told a friend you were away on a shagging weekend. Now imagine that friend is a convicted thief. It feels like an egregious breach of trust, but this is precisely the level of humiliation Princess Eugenie had to endure when 3 million new Epstein files were released last week for all the world to see.
For Eugenie, the public exposure of that detail, humiliating on its own, was just one of many disturbing revelations contained within the 3 million Epstein files made public recently. Critics argue that the princesses were not naive children caught up in circumstances beyond their control. When they traveled to visit Epstein with their mother following his release from prison, Beatrice was 19 and Eugenie was 18, legal adults.
Lunch in Miami that occurred just 5 days after Epstein was released from jail for soliciting sex from a minor. In the emails, it appears to show that Sarah Ferguson went to Miami to visit him with both her daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice, and that even possibly Epstein paid for their flights that cost about $14,000.
Those defending the princesses argue that they may have been victims of poor parental guidance. However,
Is that fair if it's their parents at fault and they're being punished, or have these two also been fairly money-hungry grifters who have been trading on their royal title?
as one commenter put it, they weren't teenagers forever. They never held their parents to account. They benefited from their association with Epstein through money and access, and they said nothing, not a single word in support of his victims. Adding to the controversy is the revelation that Eugenie gave Epstein a personal tour of Buckingham Palace at her mother's request. A 2010 email from Epstein to Sarah reads, "Thank you, Sarah. Could you or one of your daughters show me Buckingham?" To which Sarah reportedly replied, "Of course." Many observers believe the princesses were financially compensated for such favors, which is why some members of the public feel they should be held personally accountable. From a broader perspective, even setting aside the question of criminal conduct, the moral judgment displayed by both women has raised serious concerns.
That's an astute observation. You can't ignore the judgment issue. Choosing to spend time with a man who has already served time for targeting underage girls raises serious moral questions, fair or not. That association, Beatrice and Eugenie jumping on a plane to spend time with Epstein, along with Fergie, has reputational consequences. The monarchy has to think long-term, and ASCIT is about safeguarding the brand.
In an email, Sarah Ferguson described how, following a phone call with journalist Jody Gregg, she and Beatrice discussed the importance of calling him back to ensure he understood the seriousness of not misrepresenting Epstein, insisting that he had served his time and deserved to move on. If Beatrice was involved in damage control on Epstein's behalf, investigators believe Eugenie likely played a similar role. According to Interpol, there is evidence suggesting Eugenie accepted payments in exchange for helping make victims disappear. The broader financial picture shows that Epstein bankrolled Sarah Ferguson for roughly 15 years following her 1996 divorce from Prince Andrew, providing cash transfers and debt relief. Ferguson herself has acknowledged accepting 15,000 euros in 2011. While the public largely assumed Sarah was the sole financial beneficiary, Interpol's investigation suggests Eugenie was receiving money as well, a claim made more plausible by emails in which Epstein expressed a clear personal interest in both daughters, at one point asking Sarah, "Any chance of your daughters saying hello?" Eugenie's immediate troubles, however, extend beyond the Interpol investigation. She and Beatrice have reportedly been banned from Royal Ascot this year, barred from appearing in the royal box, and excluded from the carriage procession. According to reports, this is part of a broader decision to remove both princesses from all public-facing royal events for the foreseeable future. Additionally,
Beatrice and Eugenie be banned from royal events. Princesses won't be attending high-profile events for the foreseeable future. This reportedly includes Royal Ascot in June, where they would usually appear in the royal box and join the rest of the family in the carriage progression. The princesses themselves are named hundreds of times in the Epstein files. There are a number of connections with Epstein that are what you might call tangential.
arguing that the sisters continue to leverage their royal status for personal and professional gain, particularly in business dealings in the Middle East. He also raised questions about their charitable work, questioning whether it genuinely reflects a desire to help others or simply serves as a vehicle for reputation management. Eugenie is said to be actively weighing her options. According to a royal insider, she is in crisis mode and primarily focused on protecting her two young children, August and Ernest, from the fallout. She reportedly remains close to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who have encouraged her to come work with them. Harry, in particular, is said to be someone she trusts deeply, and his successful transition away from the institution serves as a model she is considering following. However, insiders warn that any move toward Harry and Meghan would almost certainly destroy her relationship with William and Kate permanently. For now, Eugenie finds herself without a clear path forward, and with limited public sympathy. Some are reporting she is considering relocating to California, while others suggest Portugal may be her destination of choice. Whatever she decides, the central question remains: will Interpol allow her to move freely, or will the investigation close in before she has the chance?